Hey there,
How
Chuck.
are you?
Yeah,
Yes, how are you?
doing pretty well. I was looking forward to meeting you, and finally, I'm really elated to have you here on my podcast today.
Oh, listen, it's my pleasure. I'm always happy to help.
And I want to tell my viewers that Chuck is a film producer, director, founder of Faceplant Films, educational and motivational speaker. And recently, I stumbled upon your video, Chuck. Winners always learn how to win.
That's it. It's really simple. It's easy to come up with excuses why you can't do something. It's hard to actually do it. And the people that do it are successful, period.
Wow. So if I ask you, what are some of your personal rules uh, that you never break, Chuck? Life rules.
Oof. I, you know what? I don't really set too many rules as far as stuff. If I go to a movie set, it's 100% professional. You go in to do a job. You're not there to greet actors and socialize and take pictures. You're there to do a job. So
Mm,
if there's one rule that I really follow, that's it. Because I work with some of the biggest actors and actresses in the business, and you have
wow.
to be respectful. You're there for a job, and it's really simple. You go in, you do your job. If at the end of the day there's time and they want to take a picture, that's great. But it's never my priority. And it kind of sucks sometimes because I've worked with a lot of actors that I don't have pictures with that I wish I did. But like I said, it's this is my job and I need to treat it
Hmm,
as a job.
interesting. And what are the pros and cons of it, of filmmaking?
Well, I mean, filmmaking in general is just it's every day is an adventure. It's never the
Mm,
same. Especially in my world, I'm a professional stuntman first. Um, you're always doing something different. It's always it could be the same stunt. It could be another car chase, but it's not just another car chase because there's always a twist in it. There's always something different. And especially in this day and age, they really want to be innovative. They want something new and
yeah.
different. So you got to come up with, you've always got to keep pushing the limits. You got to keep pushing it a little bit farther to get something new, to get something exciting. That's the
Mm,
hardest part of it, but
true.
I love the challenge.
Hmm. Sometimes I feel like whatever has been done, it's done. Like we have seen most of the things. Now there's no new thing that people can add in terms of cinema. Whatever is done, we have seen it. Be it Mission Impossible, Fast and Furious series, or
Yep.
anything. Like we have seen all the things. Now I guess, like in context of that, what's your take on it, Chuck? I want to know from your side.
You're correct. I mean, the movie industry, even the stuff we're doing today, is stuff that they did back in the early days, and even in the golden age of cinema and stuff like that, back in the 20s, 30s, and stuff like that. We're just duplicating it. It's just that we have the technology and we have the better equipment now to do it better.
Hmm.
It's not that it's new. It's not that it's different. It's just we can do it better. There's a different twist on it. If you're just doing, like you say, the Fast and Furious, if you're doing a car chase, we've got better cars, we've got better technology, we've got better tools to film it with. That's the biggest thing,
Right.
and I did work on the last two Fast and Furious films, and I'm shocked at the tools we had. The different between the drones and the warp cams and stuff like that. The technology is just amazing. You can pick up stuff so much easier and so much better.
Wow. Interesting. And what I was about to ask, I lost the trail of thoughts. Yeah, what was the film, Chuck, that inspired you to be a filmmaker? Which was the film that you watched and you felt like I want to make movies?
I don't know if it was a film. I always was an admirer of films and stuff like that. But growing up, I was more of an athlete than anything else, and I
Oh,
never
interesting.
had a set dream. I had a list of things. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be a race car driver. I wanted to be, all these different things. And on that list was stuntman, and I never really thought much of it. And I was racing go-karts at the time, and I was working at a go-kart track, and I wound up meeting a stuntman. And it's like, oh my God, I've always wanted to be a stuntman. What would it take to be a stuntman? He's like, well, why don't I come to the movie set with me and see what it's like? And I did. I went to the movie set with him. I was hooked from day one. And it's like, okay, now I know what I want. And that was it, is to be a stuntman. And then from a stuntman to be a stunt coordinator, a second unit director, and now a director and producer. You just move up that ladder, as you achieve one thing, He was
Hmm.
like, all right, what's the next step? What can I do to make it better? And as a stuntman, it's like, great, I'm doing the stunt, but I can think of ways to do this better. So I become a coordinator so I can put that together. And as a coordinator, now I'm working with the director and he's like, this is what I want. I'm like, this would be better. And so now it's like the director part of it. It's like I'm calling the shots. And that's to me was what fun. That part of it is just being able to keep moving forward and keep building on that and let your creative juices just go wild.
Wow. And in context of that, Chuck, I want to know, like, being a stuntman, it's not a walk in the park, right? You put your
No.
life on risk. And I'm not sure. I watched a film. I guess it starred Ryan Gosling in it. He was playing the stuntman. Something recently that movie came out,
Yep.
and
The
then I
Fall Guy.
realized that yes, the Fall Guy. I guess, yeah.
Yep.
So, have you ever regret being a stuntman, or have you had sort of injuries that made you realize that, I could have done something else?
Yeah, but you know what? Like I said, being an athlete growing up, I always lived on the edge a little bit. So, you get injuries. That's just part of the job. Um, I think the hardest part of it is when you lose a friend, doing a stunt. And I've had a couple people that have died while I was there, and that's hard. But at the same token, you realize it's like, listen, if I'm going to die, I have a lot of respect for life. But if I'm going to die, I want to die doing what I love, and this is what I love. And I know that they're thinking the same thing. It's like nobody wants to die. It's going to happen eventually. But if you're going to go, do it the way you want to go. You go out happy. So it's hard. And it sounds to people that don't understand that it sounds brutal. But when you find your passion, when you find that one thing you really truly love, it
Hmm.
makes sense.
Right. Wow. Interesting. And how was the transition from being a director, filmmaking to a motivational speaker?
I think the motivational speaker came more about people ask me questions about the movie industry and about this and that. And I like to talk to kids, especially. I used to go to schools and do things at schools and stuff like that, work with the kids, and then sit and talk with them and tell them about stay in school, stay off of drugs, blah blah blah. And to see that take that to the next level and stuff like that, that you actually had an effect on them, that makes me feel great. And so now it's like, all right, if I can do that to kids, why can't I do that to everybody? And so get in front of thing. And people always say, oh, you have such a great job. Like you can do the same thing. Oh no, I can never do that. It's like baloney. I didn't come into this business knowing anybody. I came in cold. If I can do it, anybody can do it. And so that whole motivational thing is standing in front of people and telling them what they can achieve and stuff like that. Instead of sitting, it's like, oh God, I wish I did this. I'm like, don't wish, just do.
Yeah, Nike, just do it.
Yeah, just do it. Exactly.
And Chuck, at the end of the day, we are still human beings. So sometimes we feel like, we want to cut corners at workplace. We feel like, we are not in the mood to do the work. So I want to know at that time, when you are in that state, if you are, what kind of things do you do to get more focused?
Uh, on the job, you don't really need much to get focused and stuff like that because the whole idea that something can go wrong pretty much gets your attention.
Hmm.
If you're gonna stand there, it's like, all right, I'm gonna drive this car and I'm gonna crash in that building. It's gonna light on fire. I'm gonna come out of the car on fire. That has your attention. There's no motivation involved. It pretty much does it. When I'm not in that situation, it's different because you got to find something to really motivate you stuff. And I mean, we all go through it. I get up in the morning and getting out of bed is a chore, because I've beaten up my body so bad.
Yeah,
And, but you do it. And in my case, I live out here on a farm and stuff like that. I got animals and stuff like that. I got the dog, the
yeah.
horses, got chickens and stuff like that. They rely on me, and so
Hmm.
I have to get up in the morning to get them going. And once I'm going, now it's easy and stuff. But I can stay in bed till noon. It's like it'd be great just to sit there and watch movies on the laptop and do nothing. But the animals need the attention. So he's like, okay, sun's up. I got to get up and I got to go feed the chickens. I got to go let the horses out. I got to take care of the dog and then just that's my morning motivation and stuff like that is I have things to keep me focused.
Fascinating. And I'm a like gigantic, movie buff. I tend to watch a lot of films. And I want to know, recently I watched a film that I felt like, it was really refreshing, rejuvenating, and I felt like this is Hollywood. And that film was F1, starring
Okay.
Brad Pitt. So
Yep.
have you? You must have watched that film. I want to know your perspective on that film. What do you feel about that?
The film itself, I enjoyed the
Yeah.
film. I'm a like I said, my background is racing. That's where I started. Before I got into stunts, I was racing
Mhm.
go-karts. I worked at a go-kart track. I was an instructor for Richard Petty with NASCAR. I've got a lot of background with cars, with driving and racing and stuff like that. So, to see both Ford versus Ferrari and F1 stuff like those, the real racing stories, it's like that excites me because
Right.
that's
Right.
my world.
Yeah.
That's my world.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Wow. Yeah. I guess in terms of this, you be like hold my beer. I can do this all day.
Well, not quite, but kind of, sort of, yeah.
And okay, which are the films that you admire that you can watch gazillion of times and never get tired of it?
You know what? Surprisingly, there's a handful of films that I really, really enjoy, but they're not action films.
Okay.
You would think is like, I do it. Terminator 2 was one of my favorite action films and stuff like that. Raiders of the Lost Ark is a great one. But the
Hmm.
ones I really enjoy are Wizard of Oz, Forrest
Okay.
Gump,
Forrest Gump. Yeah.
those type,
Tom
yeah,
Hanks. Yeah.
Tom Hanks, and even Green Mile and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fabulous movie,
Yeah.
fabulous movies. I
Hmm.
could watch those all day because every time you watch them, you pick up something new. Whereas an
True.
action film,
True.
okay, they're great. I enjoy the sequences and stuff like that. But I've seen most of them so many times and stuff like that. So I'll go back to some of the oldies and
Interesting.
even some not they're the what they call the shorts and stuff like that. The Charlie Chaplins and Buster Keaton
Hmm.
stuff like that. I love that stuff
Really?
just because of
Wow.
what was involved in it, and not so much the filming and stuff like that because the filming is pretty
Hmm.
crude, but the stuff that they did without the equipment that we have now, without the
Yeah.
safety equipment and stuff like that, is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's so
True.
much respect for those guys.
Oh, the core, I guess, the core or the plot of the story, I
Yep.
guess. I
Yep.
can
Yep.
resonate with
Exactly.
you, Chuck. I'm not sure whether you might have, why am I saying this? My all-time favorite film is that one, 12 Angry Men, the classic one. I
There you
can
go.
watch, yeah, over and over again. 12 Angry Men, then there's The Birds, Psycho,
Oh yeah. Yep.
uh,
Yep.
well,
Hitchcock was great.
yeah,
Hitchcock was great to keep you on the edge of your seat and said you never know
definitely,
what's coming and stuff like that. They're
true,
awesome.
true. Rare Window, that was pretty
Yep.
awesome.
Rear Window is great.
Yeah, Jimmy Stewart, right? That was the actor.
Yeah. Yeah. Jim Stewart. Yep.
Wow. Hmm.
No, those are films, and what makes an action film is easy to get excited about because the action keeps you on the edge of your seat. But a performance like you say in Rear Window or any of those things, the performances are what keeps you on the edge of your seat, and
Yeah.
that's golden. When you give an actor a chance to just get up there and do his stuff, you just sit back and like, wow. I'm going through that. I'm actually getting ready to go to Michigan here next month for a TV pilot, and we've been doing auditions and stuff like that. And I just did a read with a couple of the actors and stuff to see the chemistry, and I just let them go. I gave them some basic instructions, and we were on a Zoom call. I gave them basic instructions, and they just got into character, and it was like, oh my God, this is magic. This is it's
Wow.
so beautiful watching. These are two people that didn't even know each other 5 minutes before this, and the chemistry just flowed, and it was like, holy crap, this is beautiful.
Interesting. Yeah. These are the kind of films that I'm rooting for, like in Hollywood nowadays, and I feel like they don't make this kind of films anymore.
No, the you know what the creative part of it has disappeared from Hollywood.
Hmm.
Hollywood is more interested in just making money, so they're
Yeah.
remaking everything, and they're taking stuff that's golden classic films and remake it. It's like, don't do that because you're taking away. I mean, we talked to some Hitchcock when they did Psycho again. The original Psycho was brilliant, and they
Yeah.
remade
True.
it basically shot for shot. I'm like, what was the use of remaking it? Let
Hmm.
the originals go and just let it be what it is. Let's
Yeah.
there's plenty of stories out there. You can come up with a new story. We don't need to remake stuff. Let's do something fun and exciting.
Hmm. True. Okay. If you can answer to this, I'm not pressurizing you to do that. But Chuck, as per your opinion, who is overrated actor or actress?
Ooh. I hate to down talk actors. There's a handful of them. there's a difference between a
Actor.
star and a
Hmm.
celebrity and stuff like that.
Yeah, true.
A movie star is somebody that can shine on the film and stuff. Like a celebrities could be a reality show personality who
Yeah.
I don't think they're probably great people. They don't have much talent as far as being on
Hmm.
camera and stuff like that. They're just being who they are. They don't have any range. Whereas a Tom Hanks or something like that, or I work with Dustin
Yeah.
Hoffman, and
Yeah.
Dustin was awesome. He
Definitely.
played a part in a movie that I did called Confidence with Ed Burns and Rachel Weisz, and his character was originally scripted as this big buff bouncer guy at a nightclub and stuff like that. And they tell me he's like Dustin Hoffman's playing. It's like Dustin Hoffman isn't big. He's not tough. He's like, and
Yeah.
so I met him and we said, the scene plays like this. He says, if you don't mind, can I do something? I was like, yeah, let's see it. He
Oh.
took over the scene. It was magic. I'm like, holy crap, that stuff. Those are the actors that are true. They deserve what they get. And then you get other ones that are coming up through YouTube and stuff like that. Listen, more
Hmm.
power to you, but that's a stepping stone. You haven't reached stardom yet.
True.
So
Oh.
without stepping on anybody's toes and stuff like that, most people on screen are very professional and they do a good job. Some of them are just more talented than others.
Hmm.
Period.
Makes sense. Wow. Dustin Hoffman, what an actor. Like I've watched a couple of his films. Rain
Dustin,
Man, I
and he's
guess.
such a nice guy. He's such a nice guy on
Yeah.
top of it. Yeah.
Really? Wow. I watched his classics as well. The Graduate, I guess he was there in
Yep.
that film,
Yep.
yeah.
When he
The
was young.
Graduate,
Yeah, that was a long
Rain
time
Man
ago.
with
Yep.
Tom Cruise, and there was a
Rain
film.
Man,
Hmm?
I was just say Rain Man, talk
Yeah,
about the diversity and stuff like that, how he can take a character like that and just make it magic. And
yeah.
and again, here's a chemistry. Dustin Hoffman and Tom Cruise, two completely different types of actors and stuff like that. And they got on screen together. It was magic. It was so beautiful to watch them go.
True.
That's just the
Yeah.
professional of them, that how they can get into a role and be make it their own. I doubled
Hmm.
Val Kilmer for many years, and Val and I became friends. And here's a guy that
Oh,
lived the roles. He was the true. You tell him what he is, and he's going to become that part. In his mind, he is until the movie's done. That's what he is. He was amazing. It was just absolutely amazing. And I had to get used to, him being in these roles because he would just all of a sudden start acting differently. I was like, Val, what the hell was going on and stuff like that. And he was just into that. He was into that part, and he got into it so much that he just lived it, and it showed on film. It's like beautiful.
yeah, definitely. Last time I watched it with again Tom Cruise in Top Gun 2, I guess, where they both meet and have this moment. It was really wholesome, the entire moment of both of them catching up again. So yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
no, it's really nice. And that's the fun part about making movies and stuff like that is
Hmm.
having people that are creative like that and to do different things is just really amazing.
And which is your favorite genre, Chuck?
I have to say, I mean, obviously action.
Okay.
Most of the films that I have are action comedies. I love comedies. I'm a huge Three Stooges fan. I love old fashioned comedies. Monty Python, I mean, is just the Holy Grail is probably one of my favorite comedy films ever. It's just
Hmm.
genius and stuff like that. So action comedies are probably my favorite. But I mean that doesn't limit me. I do a lot of horror films. I love watching horror films. A good horror film. I like sci-fi sometimes. I worked on Star Trek for 13 seasons, and
Interesting. Wow.
I don't dislike any of them, but the ones that attract me the most probably action comedies.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Uh, some of your favorite comedy films, Chuck?
Oh, again, I'll go back to the old stuff. I already said Monty Python, the Holy Grail, but stuff like the Three Stooges, stuff like Buster Keaton. I could watch Buster Keaton stuff all day long. He was amazing. His stuff he
Okay.
did. Uh, Charlie Chaplin was another one. Just this stuff is beautiful and stuff like that. I find the modern day stuff is a little bit different. Although I am a huge fan of Robin Williams, Good
Hmm.
Morning Vietnam, stuff like that. Here's a guy that can take any role and be serious 1 second and then have you busting up crying laughing the next. Patch
Yeah.
Adams is like he was amazing. Anything that Robin Williams is in, I think is
Hmm.
brilliant.
Definitely. Wow. Yeah. And he had that this sense of humor. Recently, I was watching his podcast, and there was a guy like he's quite famous. He asked him that it's so close, and he said 8 inches. So that was pretty hilarious, I guess.
Yeah,
He
no,
was,
he was. You never knew what you get from Robin Williams. People that interviewed
uh,
him just they would just like, I don't know what to expect, and he would keep them on their toes. I loved it.
definitely. And so is I guess similarly, I guess Jim Carrey is also in that way.
Yeah,
You can never predict what he's gonna do.
correct, correct. I don't think he had the spontaneity that Robin had, but he was another one that you just don't know what to expect from him. He'd just come out of left field with stuff.
Yeah.
I was privileged. I was lucky enough to have worked with John Candy way back in the day, and
Okay.
is another guy that just we did planes, trains, and automobiles, and there was a sequence where he was in a plane with Steve Martin and stuff like that, and he just took off on his own, and was completely improv of the whole bit, his whole bit on the plane, to the point the cameraman who was on a dolly, he had to lock off the camera and walk away from the camera because he was laughing so hard. He's crying. He's trying to not ruin the take, and none of it was scripted. He just took off, and it was amazing. It was when they finally cut, we were crying. We were laughing so hard. He was just
Interesting.
brilliant. People like that are a dime a dozen. There's some great
Hmm.
comedians stuff like that, but those guys, the Robin Williams, the Jim Carreys, the John Candys, these guys, they're immortal. They're awesome.
Yeah. So what makes you stay, kind of like you live far, far away, like you live in a countryside. So what makes you, live that luxurious life and move to a countryside?
You know what? I grew up. Oh, excuse me. I grew up in Los Angeles. Was always busy. I was born in New York, and now I live in this little town called Ralt in the Netherlands and stuff like that. I enjoy the quiet. I love going to the city and doing my work. And then when I'm done, I like to leave it and come back to the to quietness of home. I'm not a big fan of the craziness. When I was living in LA, I didn't hang out in Hollywood. I didn't hang out with the celebrities. I didn't go to the parties and stuff like that. It's just not me. I like to go into work. I like that craziness while we're working. But when I'm done working, I like to go away and just have me time and just have quiet. That's just the way I am.
Interesting. Wow. And so far, I guess you have met most of the people, be it Dustin Hoffman or like Tom Hanks. And you told me about Fast and Furious. So,
Yeah.
which other names have you met, Chuck?
Oh God. I mean, most I've worked with most actors at some point or another. Not all of them. I've never worked with Tom Cruise.
Okay.
The only one that I really haven't worked with that I really want to that's still on my wish list is Jackie Chan.
Oh,
I've never
wow.
gotten I've never gotten a chance to work with Jackie Chan. I'm just a huge fan. And there was two main people, action stars. I've only worked with one of them. That was Arnold. I worked
Arnold.
on Eraser. Arnold Schwarzenegger is
Yeah.
amazing.
Wow.
He loves the stuntman because he understands he's an action hero because of the stuntman. So
Hmm.
he has the utmost respect. He treats us great. He makes sure we're taken care of on set. There's never a question, stuff like that. That's awesome because he understands it. Val Kilmer was like that. Most actors like to say, "Oh, I do my own stunts." Val would never say it. It's like, "Nope, I'm an actor. I don't do stunts. I got a stuntman for that."
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and I love that. I'm not looking for the publicity. I can care less about it because I'm there to make the actor look good. But it's nice to get that recognition sometimes. It's nice to get that pat on the back, especially from the people that you're making look good. That's always
Hmm.
nice to get that.
Interesting. And what about Stallone, Sylvester Stallone? Have you worked
I've
with
never
him?
got to work with Stallone. I know a bunch of the guys, a bunch of his doubles. I've worked with a lot, and they all had nice things to say about it. They loved working with him and stuff like that. He's really respectful, uh, just a really really genuine guy and stuff like that. There's not too many jerks in Hollywood. Um, it's hard because when we're on set with these guys, it's different than when they're on the street. Because we're on the street, they have to be on their toes because they're getting bombarded with people. It's like, oh, can I have a picture? That is they can't walk 3 feet without getting attacked by people. On the movie set, that's not like that. Nobody's coming up to them. It's like, hey, can I have a picture? Oh, well,
Got it.
we're there to do a job and stuff like that. So I can have a conversation like what we're having now with
Hmm.
just about any of them. I did this with Hulk Hogan, and it's like a great story. I did a couple films with Hulk Hogan, And there was one day at lunch, we were breaking for lunch, and I was the next in line at the catering truck, and they had to get Hulk, his name's Terry, they had to get him in lunch because they had to get him back after lunch for makeup. And so he says, "Hell, we gotta get, Terry in here." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, no problem." He's like, "Sorry, brother." It's like, "No, no problem." And so he gets his four chicken breasts and stuff like that. And he turns to me and says, "What are you doing for lunch?" I'm like, "I'm just sitting here at the table." It's like, "No, no, no, you got to come back to the dressing room with me." He's like, "Okay." So I go back to the dressing his trailer, and we sat there and watched while we ate lunch. We watched the WrestleMania from that weekend before. He's like, had the
Wow.
tape. He's like, "Oh, you got to check out the WrestleMania we just did." And it's just me and Hulk Hogan. It's like, this is amazing. Nobody's going to believe this. And and
Interesting.
it, and it was just like what I was saying, like where we're talking now. It was just like it was no big deal. And I didn't
Hmm.
think of it until afterwards. And afterwards, I'm thinking, I just had freaking lunch with Hulk Hogan, watched the WrestleMania with him, and got commentary from him live. Like, who gets that?
Yeah. Wow. And speaking of Hulk Hogan, Chuck, like this thing has been area of concern in the Hollywood recently, or like I often watch a lot of YouTube videos about it. The usage of steroids,
Yeah.
to look good, physic wise, and people like look up to the actors and they want to make a body like them. So, what's your take on it? Like, what's the usage of steroids in the film industry?
In the film industry, not so much. Um, and the athletes that are coming in are already bulked up, and especially the wrestlers like that, because back in the 80s, the 90s, and stuff like that, and even in the 2000s, they had to be bigger than life to be on in the ring and stuff like that. So it was a different world for them. It's not steroids isn't a big problem on set as it is offset.
Yeah.
There's their own set of problems between either drinking or drugs and stuff like that. It's
Hmm.
usually not on set. It's either before or after. And I've seen it on both ends of it and stuff like that. And but in most cases, I've only had a couple times, and I'm not going to mention any of the actors and stuff like that that just had a certain problem with you with some sort of substance abuse, whether alcohol or drugs. They usually kept it to themselves and they did it away from the set. There was only a couple times where you have it on set and stuff like that. Fortunately, it's changed because back in the 80s, when I first started in the business in the late 80s, 70s and 80s were crazy for drugs, and I'm glad I missed a lot of that because a lot of my friends were hardcore drug addicts and have cleaned up and became my really good friends and stuff like that. And I probably wouldn't have liked them back in the day because I only socially drink. I don't do drugs. I don't smoke. I don't do any of that stuff. I have my own vices and stuff like that, like jumping off of buildings on fire. But um, I'm glad I didn't know some of those days because it probably would have ruined my feeling for Hollywood.
True. Wow. And it seems like you are also really into health. It feels like you are a health conscious person. So how do you
You
take
have
care
to
of
be.
your health?
I was gonna say you have to be. My
Hmm.
job relies on me being able to do certain things and move properly and be athletic and be able to run or something like that. Now I've been limited, not so much that I'm not in shape. I've gotten a little bit looser as I get older and stuff like that, but it's more the injuries and stuff like that. I'm just getting over a shoulder injury and stuff like that. That's more the limiting things. But you have to stay in shape. That's You're getting hired to do a job. You have to be able, if the job is running down the street and getting shot, you have to be able to run. You can't just fake
Hmm.
it.
True.
So going to the gym and staying in shape and exercising is really important. Training all the
Hmm.
time. I do it less now. I'm in my 60s now, so I don't get to do as much as I used to. But I still try to stay in shape because I may get a call and stuff like that. It's like, hey, we need an older guy for this. And like, let's go. So I try to stay in shape. I try to do my best to be able to be as fit as I can be. It's also a persona. If I'm coming onto a set as a stunt coordinator, I'm not necessarily doing the stunts, but the actors are looking at me as like, if I come in and I'm fat out of shape and I got food in my goatee and stuff like that, they're not going to respect me. They're just
True.
like, this guy's in charge of our safety and stuff. He looks like a pig. Your presentation is really important to the cast and to the crew. You're going in, it's like, listen, I'm the stunt coordinator. Your safety is in my hands. Trust me.
Hmm.
They got to trust you.
Wow.
It's hard. It's hard. And luckily, I'm usually able to break that barrier. That's kind of the nice thing and stuff like that. Especially, I did Haunting a Hill House, and we had a bunch of kids doing some simple stuff, but you don't want to have a kid get hurt on set ever. And so I'm really safety conscious when it comes to them. And they'll want to do all like, hey, can I jump off this? I'm like, no, no, no.
Oh,
So especially with the parents, the kids are easy, but the parents is like, they're gonna turn, it's like, can you just keep an eye on? I was like, I got it. No, don't worry about it. And they trust me. That's important to me.
interesting. And Chuck, when you see people as you are a motivational speaker, do you ever think like, I wish I could tell them that this is not how you are supposed to live your life. You could do this and make a better of yourself, make your life better. Like any some sort of advice.
It's you know what? It's tough. The only thing I can do is put it out there to them. It's like this is what you should do. This is what you should be doing. But people got to be they got to be responsible for themselves and stuff like that. I can only give them advice, some friendly advice, or something, a story that where I come from, so they understand that. You know, you can't make people do certain things. You only guide that whole saying. You can guide a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. It's the same thing. I can give you all the advice in the world. It's like this is what you should do. This. If they don't do it, there's nothing I can do. So I do my best to lay the foundation. It's like here's the footwork for you to go by, and it's up to you now to do it. And if you don't, then I'll try to help you down the road. But if you're going to just keep rejecting any advice I have, then best of luck to you. I can't help you.
Hmm. Got it. And Chuck, what do you like to do in your downtime? What sort of things?
You know what? it's nice to just relax, to sit downstairs and just watch a TV show or something like that, may have a nice meal or go out to dinner. I don't have really a vice. I like my quiet time. You would
Hmm.
think with my stunt background, it's like, oh yeah, on your free time you go out and you crash cars. Like, no, I have a race car, I have a drift car, and I'll take it out once in a while, but only for fun. I most of the time I like to just be kind of chill and stuff like that because I don't get that time very much anymore. Being on the
Hmm.
set, you're going 150 miles an hour and stuff like that. So to be able to slow down and just like enjoy the moment is special to me. And now I have two girls and stuff like that. My daughters, it's nice just to have time with them and just to sit back. It's like, let's go to lunch. Let's just go to lunch. That's magic.
Yeah. Peaceful life, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. you know, I'm fortunate that I've got both ends of it. I can have this quiet time, and then tomorrow could be completely crazy, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, what are you guys doing? They're like, oh, we're lighting the guy on fire, and he's hanging up off that 3-story building. I'm like, he's what? They're like, yeah, yeah, and we're gonna blow him out the window and stuff like that. He's gonna fall down here, and then he's gonna hit by a car. And they're like, whoa, what? They're like, yeah, yeah, let's go.
Wow. I'm speechless as of now. And
And it sounds kind of weird, I guess, to anybody that doesn't do this for a living, because like
hmm.
the biggest thing is like, don't you get scared? Hell yes, I get scared. That's what's kept me alive all these years. But it's exciting, and if you're an adrenaline junkie, if you do extreme sports and stuff like that, regardless what it is, if it's downhill skiing or something like that, listen, you're taking a chance every time you go do something like that. You go downhill skiing. I've been hurt worse doing stuff like that than I do when I'm working on set. Most of my injuries have come from playing out in the yard here, playing football and twisting my ankle and doing something silly. And I go on
Wow.
the set. It's like, yesterday I twisted my ankle, and the day before I was getting hit by a car. you know, and the car hit went fine. I went to the hospital because of the damn football game.
Wow. Interesting. And which is the actor that you can that you again wish to work again with him?
Oh
Actor.
wow. Uh, there's quite a few of them that I really would. You know what? It was funny. I was just talking about. I did the what was it? Doctor Sleep with
Okay.
Ewan McGregor and Rebecca Ferguson. I loved working with Rebecca. She's wonderful. We had so much fun offset. We had as much fun offset as we did on set. She's just such a wonderful person. I would love to work with her as a director. I was a stunt coordinator on that, but as a director, I would just love to work with her because I think she's brilliant. She's so easy to work with, and she's just so pleasant to be around. She's just such a great person. And there's a lot of
Oh,
actors like that and stuff like that. I miss Val. I really do. I wish he was still around because I we had a little bit of turmoil at first because he's just a very tough guy to get to know. And then once I got to know him and I doubled him a couple times and started coordinating for him and stuff like that, we became friends. I was over at his house a couple times. It's a completely different world. Once you get to know these people and stuff like that, he's not really a jerk. He comes across that way sometimes, but he's not. He's a down to earth. He would do anything in the world for you. And it's hard to get to that point with certain people. And I've been lucky enough that I've been able to do that.
Interesting. Wow. It's quite overwhelming to listen to your stories. You have met so many people that I look up to. Like I watch
Uh,
them usually on the screens, and like Rebecca Ferguson, I guess she's one of my favorite actresses. I watched
she's
her
wonderful.
in, yeah, in that one Dune, then in
Yep.
Mission Impossible. Wow.
Yep. 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 And like I said, I didn't have a lot of stuff with her on Doctor Sleep. I did have a double for her a couple times. She gets knocked off the top of the RV, and then there was a bit in the grocery store where the she's looking in the frozen food thing, and it blows up in her face. She gets knocked back. So I had a double for those. But most of the rest of the stuff she was gung ho to do. Whenever we did the stuff on top of the RV, she was up on the top of the RV. I was always there with her, but she's like never is like they have a stand-in go up there. It's like, no, no, I'll do it. I'm like, you can go back to your trailer. It's like, no, no, I want to do this. So, and that's where I got to know her because the other actors didn't want to do it as much when she would just sit there and she was like, let's go, let's do this stuff. And so I would play the scenes out with her for the other things on top of the RV because I had to be there anyway. And
Interesting.
just such a great person, so down to earth. I
Yeah.
really those are the people I love, and there's a handful of them. And there's other ones that I haven't got to work with that I'm just dying to, like I said, Jackie Chan, stuff like that. I just
Hmm.
have so much respect for some of these guys for what
Yeah.
they've done, you know.
Definitely. I'm also a big
Yeah,
fan of Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee. Yeah, these are the people that I look up to, their dedication, determination. That's really
yep,
phenomenal. Yeah, wow.
yep.
Jackie Chan. And at this age also is like he performs his stunts, he does all the actions and is in great shape, I guess.
He's another one. Yeah, he's in great shape. And he does a lot less, obviously. And it's also from the audience and stuff like that. They don't want to see a guy that should be like a grandpa doing
Hmm.
crazy stuff anymore. When he was younger, it was brilliant because that
Yeah.
age fit what he was doing. Now he's older and stuff like that, but still, he'll just come out with stuff like that. He'll be something. All of a sudden, he'll break out into a fight.
Hmm.
That's awesome. It's almost like the Karate Kid type stuff with Mr. Miyagi and stuff like that, where it's the old guy you don't expect anything. All of a sudden, he comes out of nowhere. It's like, like holy crap, Jackie's still like that. He's he's
Interesting.
he's a
Wow.
he's a gem. He's such a great person.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. It has been such a privilege to have you here, Chuck. And if possible, do
Oh,
share our podcast with some of your friends, be it like Rebecca Ferguson or uh, Tom Hanks, yeah, Dustin Hoffman.
yeah. I wish I had contact with most of these people. I don't because when I leave the set, I don't
Yeah,
stay in touch with them, and it's
mm,
a shame. I would like to, but these guys are really busy too. So even if I had time, they got
yeah,
so much going on in their life. You can't,
definitely, definitely. I was just
you
kidding.
hope you hope to meet them down the road again and stuff like that, but you never know. And
Yeah.
they come out of nowhere and stuff like that. Jenna Elfman, I got to work with another wonderful lady, and I was in the airport, and all of a sudden I hear Chuck, and I turn around and it's Jenna Elfman. She's on another flight right next to the next gate over, and she comes over, gives me a hug. And it's like holy crap! I didn't think you would remember me. It's like, of course, of course.
Wow.
These are moments you can't buy. It's just
Mm, true.
and again, it's on set. It's a completely different when you're like I said at an airport and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful stuff like that is magic. And then all of a sudden, of course, people recognize her. It's like, oh my God. And then they'll look at me. It's like, who's that guy? It's like nobody knows me. And all of a sudden now everybody's like, so who are you? What is like, I'm nobody. I'm just a
Yeah.
friend.
Wow. Thank you for your time, Chuck, and we're gonna catch up again in the future as well. I'll bother you
I
soon.
would love to. I would love to. Thank you
Take
so
care.
much.
And bye.
Bye.